Hi, my name is Naomi Maria, and for what we did for National History Day, me and my group, we did the transatlantic slave trade. Our essential question was, how did the transatlantic slave trade affect the growth of the 13 colonies? The thesis that we got was that us as a group believed that the transatlantic slave trade affected the 13 colonies by taking people from Africa and enslaving them. Because of this, the colonies participated in the triangular slave trade, and they benefited from this by getting sugar, rum, and enslaved people. Basically, what happened was that Europe didn't want to pay America for their Native Americans, so they met up with some people in Africa and took people from Africa and enslaved them to become slaves. Since that happened, they've been trading with Africa, the Caribbean islands, Brazil, and North America to get what they want for their country. And like just because the slaves they were trading was just a part of the trade. Not they weren't. It wasn't just them slaving trades for this and that. It was slaves, sugar, rum, clothing, gold. They're just slaves were just a part of it. So it wasn't like if they were just the main thing, they were just like another object. It took up to 200 years for the British to vote on to abolish or stop slavery.
Hi, my name is Beverly Garcia, and the topic that me and my group did was the transatlantic slave trade. One of the different points of view was that people would trade slaves for sugar, molasses, or rum, and much more resources. People just saw them as trading and slaves, but they were people just like us. Um, Another different point of view was that they started a Haitian revolution, which was a revolution to free enslaved people. According to Liverpool museums, the compromise was that Britain would have to pay for the broken ships and stolen ships and would tell other countries to stop slavery.
My name is Nancy, and our topic was the transatlantic slave trade. What we and my group learned was that the slaves, being transported to America, like about 2 million died because of diseases, of how they were put. They didn't have nowhere. They didn't have privacy to do their stuff, and some of them were being tortured because they didn't want it to go inside the ships, and some of them were whipped and hated and mistreated. What this topic is about is that mainly it's about slaves being taken forcibly against their will and leaving behind everything that they knew. this topic is really important for us to learn is that so we learn the errors that people committed back then and not do them again.
Hi, my name is Isabel, and I am the proud creator, and my partner is too. Project, so the Civil Rights Movement. And with Emmett Till, he was living in Chicago, and he was visiting his family in Mississippi. He allegedly whistled to a woman, a married woman, and her husband decided to kidnap him and shoot him. And also when this case led to court, a jury full of white people wanted to acquit him, and that is totally wrong because why would they want to set him free after killing a child? The long-term effects is that people are still racist today. We have one person, years after the Civil Rights Movement, where he mentioned that he was getting assaulted because he was different and just dark. And he says that, "First I felt the force of racism as a 6 or 7-year-old in a playground. I was the only black child at school. Yet I was marked out as differently by my class, friends, whose daily entertainment was to surround me in a circle and together repeatedly shout the N-word." And that is just totally wrong because we live in a world, or just today, where you're not supposed to do that, and that's just wrong. We no longer separate our society from the water fountains and in restaurants and parks and schools, etc.
Hello, my name is Edith Morales, and since it's February, which is Black History Month, our project for my ADHD is the Civil Rights Movement. John F. Kennedy was the president during the Civil Rights Movement. He was president from 1908 to 1973. Segregation was around from 1954 to 1963. Segregation is when they separated the blacks from the whites. The Jim Crow laws are a set of laws by Jim Crow. They got the name Jim Crow because there was this play going on that was about a slave, and that slave was called Jim Crow. So it's laws for blacks that told them what to do or what not to do in certain places. For example, at the nurse, they weren't allowed to request a white nurse. Ruby Bridges was one of 6 black people who got accepted to an all-white school. 3 decided to stay at the same school, and 2 went to another school. She's McDowell, number 19. Changed the name, but she was the first person since the rest went to non-white schools. But she was the first person to go to a non-white school. Jackie Robinson was the first African American black person to play Major League Baseball. He played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. He was number 42.
Hello, my name is Nina Nguyen, and I decided to work on the Montgomery bus boycott as my NHD projects. So the Montgomery bus boycott is actually a boycott and from black people to white people. And the black people, they wanted to be free the black people didn't have as much freedom as the white people did, so that's why the boycott started. But it was actually started by the woman we all know, Rosa Parks. But how exactly did it start? When Rosa Parks was about to go home, she went on the Montgomery bus. And she actually sat in the front, but that was actually illegal for black people to do because only white people were supposed to sit in the front, and the back, and the black people were supposed to sit in the back. So she sat in the front. The bus driver, he came up to her and told her to get out, but she told him no. And so eventually, the bus driver had her arrested, and she had to pay $100. A bunch of people looked up to her, and that's what started the whole thing. So the boycott actually lasted for about 1 year. And so later, the whites, they just gave up, and now the blacks have a freedom of their own will.